Alright, here we are. This is going to be hopefully a 20 to 30 minute stream. I'm continuing with the Zendikar expansions here. The customs project for AOTP. I haven't done playtesting in, I'd say, something close to a week. Before I get too far, I gotta post that I'm streaming here on the Discords in case anyone's gonna stop by. So one moment. Oh, crap. Okay, there we go. So yeah, I've been slowing down on my playtesting. I'm sure anyone who's paid attention to the channel, I haven't been streaming a whole lot, and it's because, well, so number one, I'm working on my blue tier list, which is like 2 or 3 months overdue at this point because I've been distracted by Fire Emblem and Pokemon, but that will get done eventually. And so the other reason, anyway, so blue tier list, and then the other reason is, yeah, I've been working on a huge list of just like everything I want to include in. I'm trying to get like a rough draft of everything I want to include in this Zendikar expansion. Because unfortunately the other fellows have been kind of radio silent for about a month now, so I think I'm just going to take this basically into my own hands. So this is what I've been working on for probably about the last week, is just like tons and tons. I haven't really touched the terrain, but especially all these descriptions for spells and figures, spell abilities, figure abilities, of what I've been doing. I've been trying to word them out at least to get it to be like rough copy so that like I know what I'm shooting for. So we have Nissa here. This is, you know, I've been playtesting this one for a little bit, and I've changed her up a little bit. I will have to playtest this one a little bit more, but she's basically the same as what I was playtesting. Here's Gideon. Gideon's basically ready to go. I'm happy with where he is. Again, I'll have to generate cards for these, but as far as like the playtesting and all the, I don't know, whatever. I guess playtesting is a big one. Playtesting and like just the mechanics and the theme of the whole thing is kind of laid out, and I think he's about ready to roll. Might even be worth dropping him to 350 or 340. I don't know. All right, but so one of the other ones I've been working on a hero here, and again, no playtesting for anything other than Nissa and Gideon. Oh, and I've been trying to playtest an Ashaya, but that's been very, very tough. We'll get to Ashaya eventually. So, rough copy here of White Hero Serene Steward. Let's see. I don't have the figure written here, do I? Well, yes I do. Where was it? Figure, hit zone. So what I'm trying to do is, yeah, have the artwork and the figure written down for each of these. So we have artwork. Artwork and then figure, hit zone. Okay. Okay, so I have artwork, figure, and then figure, hit zone. Alright, so, and again, I do need to clean this up, but the gist of it is that I'm trying to use the artwork as like a, you know, the official MTG card, and then the figure as in like the figure that is required to purchase as like the proxy or whatever, as the actual unit itself. I'm not sure why this is missing, so it's right after the name, it looks like. So name, artwork, figure, artwork. Oh, so I guess I just need figure in here, huh? I'm not sure what I had for this guy now. I gotta see if I have notes somewhere. But anyway, so this stream is going to be mostly diving through this and trying to get this stuff done. Alright, apparently it's the human cleric. Alright, so the figure is the human cleric from Guildmaster's Guide. Oops. Guide to Ravnica. Okay. Then the artwork. Oh, I don't have any artwork, do I? Oh, I don't have any, like any card save for this. I'm gonna have to figure that one out. Shoot. Okay. But anyway. Just to slow down, we have a... Again, this is just rough copy at a cost of approximately 50, I'm guessing. It's going to be a small, you know, basically like a regular sized human figure. 4 life, 5 move, 3 range, 3 power, 3 toughness. It's really not going to be a... This is a filler hero, because white already has 100 point heroes. My intent was to get like a small filler hero who can just attempt to help and be supporty, and that's what I'm going for with these two. Treat wounds, basically when you summon this figure, remove 1 damage marker from a small or medium creature adjacent to it. And then the other one is the supporty piece, which I feel like this feels like a nice ability. For each creature within 2 clear sight spaces of Serene Steward, the creature gets +1 toughness while there are no enchantments on it. Wonder if I should put on that creature. That creature gets +1 toughness while there are no... I don't want it to be mixed up with Serene Steward is all. That creature gets +1 toughness while though... I feel like on it should be okay. That's a tough call, because I'd hate to say that creature gets +1 toughness while there are no enchantments on that creature. I might leave this like this. This is probably going to need a little bit of cleanup, but just to make it more clear. So anyway, yeah, white hero. Moving on. Blue squad. Mind Eye Drakes, which again, I think I pulled that from... Man, did I really not... Of course. Did I really not write this down somewhere? Like... So it is I think it's a Drake. Drake from Guild Masters Guide to Ravnica, which seems like a really good... I just hope these... I think most of these figures are relatively cheap to come by. I should probably look these up. I looked up some of them, but I don't remember looking up these guys as far as prices. But most of these should be relatively available and for like under $5, which sounds kind of nice. Alright, and then the artwork that I wanted to use was an actual Moondrakes. The actual MTG card that's apparently called Nephalia Moondrakes. That's just going to be like the actual card art, though, for the army card I'm going to generate. Like, I don't care about anything else from this card other than the art. Alright, so anyway. I also have nowhere that, like, the number of figures I want in these squads, or at least in this squad figure. I wonder if I should put, because I think I want this squad to be 2 figures. Or maybe I'll go and put it down here, figure hit zone, and I'll say, I guess equals. Did I put a colon here? I'm gonna put equals. I'll put 2 figures. I expect this one will be a 2 or a 3-man squad in the end. But yeah, they're basically like small dragons. These little Mind Eye Drakes are smallish dragons, like, I don't know, the wingspan is like slightly larger than a human, I think. Maybe a human and a half, I don't know. They didn't look that big though, the figures didn't look that big, and my plan is to make them like, yeah, small dragons, not something super powerful. So 2 life, 6 move, 1 range, 3 power, 3 toughness. Then we have flying, which I think I'm going to end up putting in the rulebook, almost like, actually I want to say they were going to do that for Age of Annihilation, I might have it wrong. But I think they were going to make flying like something they had in the rulebook, because there's so many figures with flying, that it's just like, I don't want to have to spell it out on every card, because it takes up a huge chunk of space, and players should be familiar with what flying means, so my intent is to say, flying's going to go in like the expansion rulebook, or maybe rules and FAQ that I'll include with this. Just to say, hey, if the figure says that it's flying, here's what flying means, and, you know, copy and paste from, like, Evasian or whoever else is flying, Obnixilis, something like that. And then their other ability, which I think is why I want to knock them down to only 2 figures, when one of the figures is destroyed. So it's, you know, each time, I wonder if I should say each time whenever one of them is destroyed, you may look at the bottom card of your library, and you may place it back on top of your library, which is kind of... there's anti-synergy, I suppose, with Jace, with good Jaces, you know, with the very powerful Jace, was it Focus Thoughts? Because, like, you might be taking your top cards of your deck and then realize you don't want them and then put them in the bottom. In this way, I think this is supposed to kind of help shitty Jace, the Jace that, like, doesn't work so well. But yeah, effectively, it's just reverse of focus thoughts. Except for it's just when these guys die. You know, when one of them dies. So effectively, when there's 2 figures, you can do this twice in a game. Or more if you resurrect them somehow. But yeah, so when one dies, you look at the bottom card. You know, and it's basically, you can put it on top or you can leave it at the bottom. And I'll have to look at focus thoughts to see how it's worded, but that's what I'm going for here. So medium 4, cost 75 seems probably a little high. I might end up dropping this to like 60, but I don't know. Flying and this ability seem good enough that as a 2-man squad, this is probably okay. Yeah. On the next, we have a black hero, and this one I haven't spent a ton of time with. Name. So yeah, it does look like I have, and even the name I can probably change because that seems kind of generic. It's just the name of the figure. But again, it is another Guildmaster Guide to Ravnica, and I have the Tormented Soul card from MTG as the artwork. And this one, yeah, what I'm going for, this one's going to be a big life. Like I originally was going to give this guy. Oh, he has Ashiya's abilities. Looks like I haven't added his abilities in here yet. I should probably delete these. Oops. Let's get these out of the way and I'll fill these in at some point. I'll just put ability. Okay. So, anyway, I'm thinking about what I want to do for this guy. Whether it's going to be, I currently put him at 3 power, 3 toughness. I was or 3 power, 0 toughness, and a big life pool. The thing I was kind of going for was almost like the Heroescape Phantom Knights, where I was thinking about giving him like the was insubstantial, where like when he's attacked at range, he gets +3 defense effectively. But like melee creatures will have a much easier time, or melee planeswalkers will have a much easier time dealing with him and killing him. I mean, big life pool still means he can take a beating. But like, yeah, like he would have the ability to be like, if you're shooting him, you know, if you're not adjacent to him, he's gonna, he'll get like +2 toughness or +3 toughness. Probably end up giving him flying. I don't think I'm gonna give him stealth flying. I don't think I'm gonna introduce stealth flying, but rather he's gonna have flying and then, shoot. Maybe I do have to introduce stealth flying because I really wanted to give him like a disengaged like power. So I might have to just say stealth flying is being introduced here. But either way, I wanted to give him flying as well. And I was also going to give him another ability which makes him unblockable. Kind of like Blue's Ghost Form. Only permanently Ghost Form, so he's permanently unblockable because it's his ability. Which is why he has 3 power. Like, he's a hero with 3 power, which is just garbage. But when he has flying as well as, well, actually that's it. I guess he could roll potentially 4 dice with power, or with height. Which means he's averaging 2 damage per turn, which feels decent enough. Unblockable does not work against against Planeswalkers, which is fine, which is what I want. I don't want unblockable to work against Planeswalkers, because killing Planeswalkers is already kind of too easy in some circumstances. But it's also how it goes for Blue's Ghost Form, is that it says that like defending creatures don't roll defense. It doesn't say defending figures, which means Ghost Form does nothing when you're killing a Planeswalker. Like Planeswalkers still roll their plane defense. But anyway, so that's what I'm going for, is like kind of a beefy like spirit dude who doesn't like he basically, like, when he gets attacked, at least in melee, he just loses tons of life. But he also has like the same effect back when he's killing other figures, is that like they don't roll defense. Kind of sums it up. Cost of 80 feels like it might be a little low for this guy. But, and again, I want to do a black hero because like you have the Ghoul Vanguard as a black hero, so it's like I either want to be like cheaper than Ghoul Vanguard or more expensive. I don't want to make something like about 100 points. Like, I don't want to be between 90 and 110. I want to be like 80 or less, or 120 or more. So that way, like, he's distinct from the Ghoul Vanguard as like a figure that does something in particular and at a different point value, I guess. But 80 might be a little bit, like, I might have to reduce his life to like 7 or 8 to make this feel like it's going to be good at 80. I gotta play test it. Anyway, that's what I'm going for with this guy. Red Hero. I just had a lot of fun trying to make up this guy, but so Squee, Goblin, Pyromaniac. See, that artwork it's a really old, Ember Mage Goblin card, I think. Like as far as like from the card game, it looks like it's like something from like straight out of like the 90s, which I don't really mind. Like it'll look funny on an army card, I guess. And then the figure is actually a Pathfinder Battles like Goblin Pyro, which it looks kind of hilarious. He's like a little green goblin in a like black robe with like fire spewing out of his hands. Looks pretty cool. So red hero. Here he is, life 6, move 5, range 5, power 4, toughness 3. And of course, again, these abilities are probably going to need to be tested. But kind of in this, when I was making Wildfire, it was like, so whenever Sweet attacks, he gets, or sorry, if you roll 2 shields, you get +1 hit. It's kind of an inverse to the Fire Cats, where like when they say if you roll at least 2 cross swords, you get +1 hit. This is more to make him, I guess, I mean, was wild, right? It's Wildfire. To be more like a wild card kind of thing, but also makes him more consistent when he's attacking anyway, which is kind of neat. Because it's like I feel like he's never nice music. Thank you, Sean Apel. Whoa, welcome to the stream, Sean. Sorry if I messed up your name. You have any interest in AOTP, sir, and or HeroScape, I suppose? Down to. Yeah. I'm sorry, I'll talk to you in a moment, okay? It says, yeah, I play HeroScape. Not really AOTP, but it looks fun. Not AOTP! Oh man, I do. The more I look at AOTP, the more I think I like it over HeroScape. I still like HeroScape though. It's definitely fun. It's the Magic knockoff. I think I do. The more I'm looking at it, it's just an extra layer of you get you get to draw the spell cards, but it's HeroScape with a deck of spells on top of it. It's basically all it is. Yeah, you play HeroScape. Really? So anyway, I'm jumping around. Sorry, I'm talking to my wife at the same time. Are you on like the HeroScapers website or anything? I assume. Wait, were you on the Discord or something? Let me look around. What's happening here? What's happening here? I assume you must have seen my link somewhere on the one of the Discords I posted it in, which is I only posted it in an AOTP Discord and a HeroScape Discord. Yeah, on the Discord. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Anyway, I'm just making this a relatively quick stream about a huge. I mean, I don't know if I'll call it huge on the HeroScape Discord. Gotcha. Cool. Well, thanks for jumping in. But I'm working on I don't know if I'm gonna call it huge, but if you're familiar with any of the AOTP expansions, I'm basically doing a custom expansion that's about the size of the smaller AOTP expansion, which means it's gonna have like I don't know how many figures grand total in it. No, I'd have to purchase them, but I'm making like stats and a card that would like go along with it. I'm looking at it. They have like card generator things online, so I want to give it a go. But anyway, where was I? Yeah, so it's gonna have like a bunch of spells and a bunch of the like extra planeswalkers and figures that they can summon to go along with it, and maybe a scenario if I feel really creative. I'm not sure what I can do about that. but it's akin to basically what HeroScape customs are. You know, to try and stay in the theme of the game and use a lot of the same lingo that were on the original cards, while adding a little more to the game. Now I forget where I was before I saw you join. I was on the red guy, the red goblin. Yeah. Arsonist. Alright, so the ability, right. So I talked about Wildfire, and we have Arsonist here. Which a token creature is kind of something I'm bringing in, I think, when I release like a rulebook or FAQ for this. But a token creature is going to be something that's, you know, it's just like a garbage creature, mostly expendable, like it supposedly is in the card game. Why, what's wrong? Oh dear. But yeah, so that he would effectively, as his attack, instead you can just point at a token creature and just kill it on the spot. Which I feel like most of the time he would probably kill anyway, so this kind of feels redundant, but I'll see how it goes. Again, I need to play test. And then the final ability, which is kind of a, just when he is destroyed in combat, deal 1 damage to the attacking creature. It's kind of a meh ability, I don't know. It's mostly to stop him from being murdered without doing anything after he comes onto the battlefield, though, because Life 6 Toughness 3 is kind of weak. And another thing, again, as I mentioned with the previous, what is it, the black and the blue heroes, is that I want him to try and stick out from the Mad Prophet by putting his cost a little bit higher. So instead of the 70 that the Mad Prophet is, just put this guy at about 100. So that way there's like a slightly cheaper hero or a slightly more expensive hero for a little variety. And he's a ranged hero at that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm excited to play test this guy, though. I feel like I had a lot of fun trying to figure out what to do with, like, how to make the figure look like it's gonna set things on fire with his abilities. Okay, Ashaya. This one I tried playtesting, and it is. I feel like I'm all over the place with it right now. I don't even have name artwork. I need a figure for Ashaya, and this finding like a gigantic tree figure shouldn't be that hard, right? It's just a big tree. Artwork. This makes no sense not knowing the basics. Oh, are you reading all of it? I need to look into this game. It sounds and looks fun, but it makes no sense not knowing the basics. Well, luckily for you, if I don't know how much you play HeroScape or whatever, I would say this is something around 70 to 80% the same as HeroScape. The primary difference is that you have a spell deck. That's really, it's basically HeroScape with a spell deck on the side. There's no order markers as well, which is another difference. But for the most part, like, and this is why I'm always shocked at how, like, the HeroScape community, like, really shunned, or seemed to shun this game, because I feel like this is mostly an upgrade to HeroScape, and I still love HeroScape. But I think, like, the addition of, like, the spells just makes it that much more interesting to play. But not hard to pick up, dude. Like, I'll even play around with you sometime if you want. I totally... What's that? I play with my daughter, who's a 5-year-old. But yeah, but I don't use the spells with her. Like, we basically play HeroScape at that point. But we have used the figures. But anyway, so Mr. Sean, yeah, if you ever want to play, dude, I don't know if you, like, send me a friend request or whatever on Discord, or, like, I'm working on an online version. Let's see, can I similar to, like, what they do for online HeroScape, I'm trying to do it for the Arena of the Planeswalkers, is what you can see here. It's a little clunky, but I've gotten a few games in with some people, and as a matter of working through the clunkiness of it. But I have, like, a bunch of maps and stuff on here. Let's see what I got. Map and background. So, like, there's a bunch of maps, and again, like, it works if you're familiar with the, what is it, the Google Docs form. shunned it because the core community are diehard. Yeah, absolutely. I can see it. Like, they like the lore of HeroScape, and that's fine. Like, I can understand that. I'm not attached to the lore. But if you're familiar with the Google Docs version of HeroScape, this is effectively like the same thing. Like, you're basically like dragging sprites on a map. Oh, this is very small. Be like dragging and dropping sprites to do your maps and to do the figures and yada yada. But Roll20 allows us to have decks on the side here, which is cool. And then you can also have a hand which is hidden from the other player. I don't know, it's neat. And again, that all comes down to, I don't know if you are familiar with the Google Docs version of HeroScape, or even if you have Tabletop Simulator, which is another fun way to play HeroScape and AOTP. I can, I'll be more than happy to play with you on either of those formats. Mediums, I guess is what it is. But yeah, and I got spell decks, which are, it's all a work in progress, but yeah, we got like the figure tokens here, which is like, they occupy a space. And, so it's a Planeswalker, it's one of the figures, basically. We got damage markers, including, you can put like damage, well, I use these as damage markers, but I put all these markers on them as damage, effectively. I don't know. Don't be scared of Arena. If it looks too complicated, it's really not. If you can understand HeroScape, you can understand Arena. It's not that much different. But yeah, you hit me up, dude, or you let me know in chat. I am more than happy to teach you and to play around for fun. You can help me play test or whatever. I don't care, dude. Boop. Where was I? Ashaya, the green hero, the gigantic tree. And funny enough, it doesn't look too complex. I have done far more complex games. I just need to sit down and read into it. Yep. I think, yeah, I think there are definitely more complex games. It's not. I'd say, yeah, it's low to medium in complexity. Not that I've done a ton of board gaming. Honestly, a lot of my board gaming is like your standard like Risk and Settlers of Catan and stuff, like a lot of very simple games. I think it is moderately more complex than those, but it's fun. And I don't even play MTG, like the card game, Magic the Gathering, the card game. I don't own a single official, collectible card. I don't own any of them. I'm vaguely familiar with the rules because I have played a couple of times, but I've never really liked it. Mostly because of it's a card game, and they have like the loot box effect there, where it's like the gambling of buying a pack and trying to get the rare cards and yada yada. But yeah, so it really, like, coming from me, I come mostly from the HeroScape side of as far as AOTP is concerned. I don't care much for Magic, the trading card game at all. So I really do. Like, I think I have a lot of passion for this. As far as like, it just makes me sad that like there wasn't a ton of love put into this, either from Hasbro or from the community. But yeah, all that to say, you don't really need a background in Magic the Gathering to have this, like, it's the nostalgia wouldn't work so well on you, because like people who were into MTG would be like, oh, I see Chandra and I see Jace and those guys are in the card game, that's cool. But it's like, I didn't have that effect, and I still love this game. Anyway, Ashaya, so she's like a giant tree. I gotta figure out what artwork and figure I'm gonna use for that yet. The artwork should be easy. There's a couple of Ashaya Magic cards, but the figure might be a little bit harder to. I gotta find an affordable big tree figure. I tried playtesting this one a couple of times, and it is it's been a doozy. It feels like it often sucks. I didn't think I've playtested this version yet. It's been mostly the same as what we have here. Life 7, move 5, range 2. I think it's been range 1 before. I think I buffed this to 2 recently. Power 4. I think it had Power 5 before, and I only debuffed the power to 4 because I added Natural Fury in here as a brand new ability, as a third ability, where the other two have been there for some of my playtests. So yeah, while you've played no spells during your turn, when Ashaya attacks, you basically get to double attack. And if you do play a green sorcery, then you get Trample until the end of turn. And that's mostly to get synergy with things like, what am I thinking of? Titanic Growth, that's it. And then a custom green spell, which I want to release along with this guy. But to give you a little choice, or like a little, you can play a green sorcerer, or you can hold off on that until, you know, after you've attacked, and then you can get double attack at just her base 4 power. I don't know, I think it's going to help a little bit. Yeah, the cost of 150 is, I feel like this is hard to justify. I've toyed with it being at 130, it still felt like garbage. I don't know. Anyway, it's a green hero. Green really needs a hero because they had no, they have no official AOTP green hero from the 3 sets that they did release. This is one I want to get right, though. This is one I want to get right. This is the one, this is my next concern as far as playtesting and balancing. Colorless. Oh, this is going to be fun, too. I don't think I'm going to make all 3 of these. I think I'm going to go with 1 hero and 1 squad. I'll leave these here just in case I change my mind, but my current work has been I'm working on 1 hero, 1 Eldrazi hero, I want to say. Yeah, and then 1 Eldrazi squad. These are all Eldrazi. That's what Zendikar was about, the invasion of the squid Eldrazi things. And I only made 1 note here that I want to try using like an emerge kind of ability, which basically extends the summoning range and removes the requirement of line of sight, I think, or clear sight. Right, place the squad within 8 spaces, which means there's no clear sight spaces required here. Where normally summoning requires clear sight, and it's within 5 spaces. So I want to try emerge as like an extended super summon, I guess. With a cost, of course, of discarding a spell card to make that work. I'm excited, and I think I want to use this for like a Kraken kind of thing as well at some point, so that'll be reused in the future. But yeah, work in progress for the colorless guys. Legendary cards, I've mostly dropped this. This is still something I'm considering, but not heavily at the moment. So I have 3 white spell cards that I want to put in, that I want to send along with this. These might change slightly too. I haven't playtested any of these. Enchant Planeswalker, we got the Oath. We got the Oath of Gideon, the Oath of Jace. Like, there's an Oath of each Planeswalker. Oath of Liliana. Oath of Chandra. And this is to help the monocolored Planeswalkers a little bit. Do I have an Oath of Nissa? Oh, it's at the bottom. To help the monocolored Planeswalkers, because monocolored Planeswalkers have been kind of just piss poor compared to the dual-colored Planeswalkers. So this is, specifically Oath of Gideon, which means Oath of Gideon can only enchant Gideon, who's mono-white. This one is kind of specific, and I think I try to pull this from Zendikar lore to say your core figures are getting buffed, because for some reason Gideon had something to do with core units, core creatures, based on what I saw in the actual Magic the Gathering cards. But a pretty simple one. This is really similar to Gideon's Phalanx, honestly, and just helps the core units be a little bit better, because they kind of stink, in my opinion. Especially the, what's his name? The core Arrow Captain. Gideon's Reproach. Hidden enchant, and again, I want to. This is unfortunately the only white hero hidden enchant, or I mean, Planeswalker hidden enchant, which means it's going to be very, as soon as somebody plays it on their white Planeswalker, they're going to know. The opponent's going to know it's this, but it'll expand over time. Basically, just gives counter strike and +1 defense for 1 turn when it's triggered. Could be. I don't know. I gotta think about this with something like Nahiri. I feel like my primary concern is testing this with Nahiri, because she can get her 6 toughness, and adding 1 more and counter strike to that, even for 1 turn, might be busted. Something to test in the future. And then Angelic Gift. Well, it's just a 1-turn sorcery, 20-pointer. Yeah, target squad. Just 1 squad gets flying until end of turn. I don't feel like that's That seems very white. Doesn't seem very powerful. I guess I'll find out when I play test it. So 3 blue spells, and these all... Oh boy, I couldn't... This is probably the hardest one. Oath of Jace feels like I don't know where to go with it. So again, Jace, only a mono blue Jace can be enchanted with it. So while you've played no spells, you may draw a card. Basically, it's supposed to be that while you've played no spells, you can draw an additional card, compared to like just the 1 card per turn, which this might require some wording, I don't know. But yeah, and then it says if you do this, you can only play 1 spell, up to 1 spell during your turn, instead of the 3 spells for your turn. And this is again to say once per turn, to be like, you may draw a card only once per turn. Because I don't want this, while you've played no spells, you may draw a card to feel like you can repeatedly just keep drawing cards. So I feel like this phrase is kind of required here, to close that loop. Yeah, it's kind of a trade-off to be like, well, you can play 3 spells, or you can draw an additional card and only play 1 spell, and I think that's it's an interesting trade-off. It's only 5 points because I'm not sure how good it is. I feel like I wouldn't want to go much higher than 5 or 10, honestly. Rush of Ice, 25-pointer here. It's basically Detain. Let's see, what does it say? So play at the start of a turn of a blue squad or hero. This is to help encourage more turns with the blue squads and heroes, because I feel like they don't get many turns, at least the way I play. So this is to help encourage that you take a turn with those heroes, so that way you get to play this card when you start that turn. It's basically just Detain against a hero, an enemy hero though, just to prevent your opponent from taking a turn with a hero of your choice for their next turn. And Clutch of Currents, I feel like this one's going to be a long time coming. I might edit it a little bit, but another hidden enchant Planeswalker. Flip when your Planeswalker's attacked. By a hero or a Planeswalker. So this is more of a targeting heroes and Planeswalkers versus a lot of blues targeting squads crap that they have. This is to kind of cover that whole... the attacking creature gets -2 power. Or, sorry, the attacking figure, which could be a Planeswalker as well. That is intentional. They get -2 power, and then you kill this hidden enchant. That's all it is. So for black, I'm actually trying to create 5. Yeah, so I have 3 white, 3 blue. I'm creating 5 black spells because I was looking at the numbers. I want to say there was 27 spells for red, blue, black, or red, blue, black, red, blue, white, and then 21 spells for black and green. So black and green are both getting 5 spells, I think, instead of, yeah, red's getting 3. And yeah, but green's getting 5. So they're each getting 5 to try and close that gap a little bit, because they're, what, 6 spells behind the other colors, which I'm not sure why that is. I guess that's how they ended the game. So we got Oath of Liliana. This one I think has a lot of potential to be really broken. So only Liliana can be enchanted. Basically, whenever a zombie dies and it's within 4 clear sight spaces of her, you roll a d20 on a 17 or higher, it resurrects. But it resurrects with only 1 life left. And I think I need to try and... figure out how to word this a little bit better. But this gets the idea across for now, at least, to place damage markers on the zombie until it has 1, or until 1 more damage would destroy it. Basically to say it has 1 life left, and that's the whole point of it. But I just feel like this has a lot of potential to... you can roll a lot of 17s, especially when Liliana already likes to use zombies. You're probably going to have all zombies in your army anyway, that this might proc a little too much, and I don't know what else I should do instead. This feels very black, though, to have, like, the resurrecting zombies. That's for sure. Ruinous Path, a simple one. I love the card art for this. The card art that I want to use is literally called Ruinous Path. But it feels perfect for black to enchant a unique squad. And then the enchanted squad gets -1 move. It's just... it looks good. It's like a dude stumbling over rocks. And black's thing is debuffing, so this is perfect to just be like, debuff an enemy squad with -1 move. Might be too powerful at 10 points, but I'll test. We'll see where that gets. Dark Favor. When you enchant a squad, this is basically Divine Favor, but turned black, because apparently there is an actual black card called Divine Favor. Enchanted Squad gets +1 power, +1 toughness, which is what Divine Favor does, but Dark Favor has you deal 1 damage to your own Planeswalker. Kind of a trade-off. It's cheaper. Divine Favor is 25. This one's 15. But to make up for that cheaper cost, you're dealing 1 damage to your black Planeswalker. I don't know. I think it's an interesting and maybe a fun trade. I'm not really sure what I think about it. I think it's going to be fine. Playtesting will reveal. Myers Malice. This is basically just a super Liliana's Caress. So, target player. You'll pick a player. They have to reveal 2 cards. They will choose 2 cards to reveal from their own hand. And this is just basically a clause to be like, if they have less than 2, then they reveal their entire hand. Because if they have 1 card or 0 cards, then they just reveal all of it. If at least 1 card is revealed in this way, then you, as the player who's black using this, you select 1 and they discard that card. So basically you get to reveal 2 cards from their hand. Like, you get to look at, they're discarding 1 card and then you see 1 other card of their hand. So that you kind of have an idea of what they're going to do. I don't know. It's just something that wasn't really available in the original sets that I think is kind of common in black and blue, especially in the card game. So this kind of covers that base, and I'm going to do more of that, I think, within just the set itself. I think I'm going to have one of the Eldrazi squad or hero abilities have something to do with like messing with your hand like this, like revealing your hand. Anyway, this seems like common black to me as far as the card game goes, so I think this is a cool, this is going to be a really cool one. I'm very excited for this ability, this spell. Dutiful Return. This is just more squad rezzing. You kill a non-zombie you control at the end of your turn too. That's to attempt to balance it so that you can't bring 2 zombies in the middle of your turn and like immediately take a turn with them. That this is intentional to be like, you have to play this at the end of your turn, and you kill one non-zombie you control, and then when you do, you can bring up to 2 zombies back adjacent to your Planeswalker, so that your opponent has the ability to or a chance to like to react to what I think this might be pretty powerful. To bring 2 zombies out of your graveyard. Zombie, wait. This is supposed to be a squad. Zombie squad creatures. Okay. The whole point is to be squad because we don't want heroes. Two zombie heroes would be really powerful. But even then, bringing back 2 zombie squads like the frickin' Blight of Reavers, I think this is going to be quite powerful for them. That's mostly what I have in sight here. But yeah, so at the end of your turn, give your opponent a chance to try and kill something or do something about you bringing 2 zombies back. Red. Here's Oath of Chandra. This one, I need to think of something better. This feels very generic. Basically at the end of Chandra's turn, while she's enchanted, deal 1 damage to 1 creature that's adjacent to her. This feels very... it's just meh. I don't even know what to say. But red is so hard to try and like create interesting effects for that I don't know what else to do. There's already 2 enchantments that one increases your power while you're not adjacent to enemies, and then the other one increases your power while you are adjacent to enemies. So it's like, I don't really want to make another enchant Planeswalker that gives you some ability to buff your power. This seems kind of unique, if boring, but it's unique among red enchantments, at least as far as I can think of. So I won't talk more about it. That's that. It's kind of boring, but it's something. This one I like, Volcanic Upheaval. Select an unoccupied glyph within 4 spaces. So again, no clear sight spaces, just, you don't even have to be able to see it. If it's within 4 of your Planeswalker, you get to remove the glyph from the game. Unoccupied in particular, because I don't really want this destroying a glyph that somebody already has under control. Because I feel like that would just feel bad. This is more of a, like, maybe if you kill their figure, and then you play it afterwards. This one, I'm not sure how this is going to be. I don't know if this is worth 10 points, frankly. I think it will be, but playtesting again. Radiant Flames, oh, it's split. Radiant Flames. This one is a wording nightmare, but I know what I'm going for. So it's 20 points, right? Deal X damage to a target creature, where X is the number of mana colors represented amongst the figures adjacent to that creature. This one's tough to word, but basically, it's like if you target a blue creature, and there is a blue creature and a red creature, as in, like, let's say it's a blue player versus a red player game. So you target a blue creature, and you deal X damage to that blue creature, where X is the number of mana colors. What this means is if there's a blue creature adjacent to the target blue creature, and let's say like one of his teammates, let's say, is adjacent to him, and then you have one of your red creatures adjacent to the blue creature, it's going to do 2 damage because you have red and blue represented here. Or if you're playing a multiplayer game, or let's say you're both using dual colored Planeswalkers. I'm a white-blue, or does blue have dual colors? Or red have dual colors? Yeah, white-red. So let's say we have Nahiri using this. She has white-red. So let's say she has her white and her red creature adjacent to the target creature. And we're going against Kiora, who is blue-green. And let's say there is a blue and a green creature adjacent to the target blue creature. Then in that case, their X would equal 4. So then that creature would take 4 damage. This is tough to word, but it's basically just count up all the colors. You know, all the different. Is there at least one red creature? Is there at least one white creature? Is there at least one blue creature? Is there at least one black creature? Is there at least one green creature? So it basically caps out at 5 because there's only 5 mana colors in the game. Those are the 5 colors. I could probably put that this maxes out at 5, but I don't know. I like it. This is an interesting one, and it's pretty similar to what the card game does, I think, if I remember that right. 5 green spells. These... Where's my Oath of Nissa? This has got to be near the top. I like the Oath being at the top. There. Ooh. So the Oath of Nissa. I think this one's going to be tough to balance as well. Basically, Nissa just gets disengaged. I think that's going to be very powerful on its own. And I can see this going up to like 25 or 30 points, but this one I want to watch very closely and playtest it a lot. I think Nissa's already very powerful. The custom one is kind of powerful. No, I'm lying. I don't think it's that powerful. The original Nissa is quite powerful, I think, because of Sprint. And Sprint, I think this combined with Sprint is going to be really dumb. So that's something I gotta playtest a lot. Simple card, Nissa's Renewal. Remove 1 damage marker from a friendly creature that's not engaged. I could probably just get rid of any enemy figures and just put not engaged. That's probably fine. Like, to be engaged, like, you'd have to be adjacent to an enemy figure anyway. I could put not adjacent to enemy figures. But engaged just gets that same note across to be like, you're not... If you're not engaged, then of course you're not adjacent to an enemy figure. Can it be cover? Okay. Yeah, this one I think can go up more than... This might be a 10-pointer. But while any creature in Enchanted Squad is adjacent to 1 tree, to at least 1 tree, that creature gets +1 toughness. Which is to say, right, if you have a 3-man squad, if only one of that 3-man squad is adjacent to a tree, then that creature... That's the whole point of that creature in this, is to say that one guy who is adjacent to the tree gets +1 toughness, and not the entire squad. So it's kind of a... It's going to suck when there's not any trees on the map, which is why I'm kind of inclined to leave it at 5 points, but I think the max I'll go is 10. Seek the Wilds. Here's the one I kind of want to see that I'm making kind of specifically for Ashaya, which is kind of weird, but whatever. Green has no heroes, so I got to start somewhere. Seek the Wilds. Move a friendly hero creature up to 3 spaces. It gets +1 power to the end of turn. It's sweet and simple. I don't know what else to say to that. I can see this maybe going up to 20 points. Because I know Red has Rush of Adrenaline. Rush of Adrenaline, which is what? You deal 1 damage to your own guy and move it up to 4 spaces. And it costs 5 points. But I think the worst part about that is how you deal 1 damage to your own guy. Which is why I feel like since we're moving almost 4 spaces and we're getting +1 power and we're not dealing damage to our own guy, that this might be a little more, might need to be more expensive than it already is. Whatever. Elemental Uprising. This is an interesting choose one card, which I'm not sure if I want to stick with this or not. But basically you're going to choose one of 2 things. You can move an attack with a tree, which is similar to what my Nissa custom is going to do. I almost literally copied and pasted this text from Nissa. over to this spell. Just to kind of give, in case you want to use the original Nissa, it still gives her the feeling of, you know, she can control tree just like the new Nissa can. That this is basically the cover for that. And then number 2, in case you don't care about the tree control feature, or of course if there aren't any trees, you get to pick a 1 green elemental squad, which at the moment is just the Pummeru elementals, because I'm not adding a green elemental creature. I'm not adding a green squad, I should say, at all in this. I'm sure I'll add to this over time, but this is basically just saying you get 1 Pummeru from your graveyard back to your reserve, which means you have to resummon it. That's why this is so cheap, because you still have to spend the time to resummon the figure, as compared to just re-bringing it back onto the battlefield, like Black can usually do. I can see this maybe going to 15 points, but we'll play test. Oh, that's right, and I forgot, colorless spells, which do not exist in official AOTP. I'm very excited for these, even though they're all expensive, and it's intentional. It's intentional that I made these quite expensive compared to what they probably should be. That seemed to be the theory, or the, what am I thinking of, like the philosophy behind why they made, or what the philosophy behind like colorless spells in the card game was that they were typically like, you know, the red you can use the red or the green or the blue or the black or the white to do them, but it's just that they were typically more expensive to do. So like they're flexible in that like any color can use them, which is what I'm going for here. But they're expensive for what they do. Like, you know, well, I mean, this one just changes the color of a squad, which is quite unique. But I think for 20 points, that's kind of expensive to want this. But there should be some combo potential here. This is a tough one. This is a tough sell for me, and frankly, I'm not sure if I want to include it. All His Dust, I think, is insane. I like this. It's kind of wordy. But deal up to 3 total damage in any way you like amongst any number of creatures, non-colorless creatures, which are adjacent to any Eldrazi creatures you control. So, I mean, like, Red's Incinerate is, what, 25 points? Or, like, you have Dual Shot, which is 20 points. Those do 3 damage and 2 damage, respectively. And so I feel like, yeah, this being at 40 points, and you know, saying that at least it's if you have a guy that's adjacent to any Eldrazi creatures you control, that you could, first of all, you can mix and match the damage here, which I think also warrants it being a little more expensive. To be like, you could put all 3 damage on one guy, according to the wording of this, or if you have 2 Eldrazi creatures and you have 1 guy adjacent to each of them, you can put 2 damage on one guy and then 1 damage on the other, kind of deal. I don't know. It feels a little expensive, but that's kind of the point, is that like it's kind of flexible, but expensive. And of course it's very Eldrazi centered, because that's what this expansion is still piggybacking on, is the Zendikar Eldrazi invasion, or whatever it is, the Eldrazi trying to take over the plane. Spatial Contortion, pretty simple one, 10-pointer. Just 1 creature gets +1 power and -1 toughness to the end of turn. Again, lots of flexibility there. 10 points really isn't even that expensive. Are there? Let me think. Well, so green has Titanic Growth, which says a creature gets +3 power until end of turn at 10 points, which means, yeah, this is kind of weaker. This is pretty significantly weaker than that. So this feels about right. To be like, you can pick an opponent's creature to get -1 toughness, or you can pick one of your own creatures to get +1 power. So again, flexible but a little expensive for what it does, but 10 points is actually easy to squeeze in for almost anyone, I think. Here's another choose one. Choose one of 2 effects, Warping Whale. Destroy target squad creature with 1 toughness or less, if that creature is adjacent to at least 1 figure you control. This is a really kind of hard to not have this happen at some point in the game. But then number 2 is the Eldrazi focus choice. Return an Eldrazi squad creature from your graveyard back onto the battlefield, adjacent to another Eldrazi squad creature you control. I might have to change this to say an Eldrazi squad creature or a Planeswalker you control. I think I'm going to add that. You control, or adjacent to an Eldrazi or a Planeswalker. I think I'm going to say or a Planeswalker you control. Okay. Eldrazi's Conscription. This is a fun one that is also I wonder how I'm going to make this one work. So enchant squad. Play this only at the end of the turn of an Eldrazi hero creature. And it can only enchant a squad with one figure remaining. This one might have too many conditionals. Like just the first two sentences might be too many conditionals, and I might just delete the first line and just say only enchant a squad with one figure. Enchant squad gets +1 power. Oh yeah, and also you control it as well. It's its army card. This is basically I'm taking control of your guy, like Negaxa almost. But it's just that it's only a squad that has one guy remaining, which means not super powerful. So yeah, they get +1 power, and then of course you gain control of a squad and the army card. When the squad is destroyed, return the card back to its owner and place the squad in its owner's graveyard. Again, that's to kind of prevent that when it dies, it's like confusing to figure out who owns it while it's dead, especially in the case of like Black. Black really kind of wants to keep their stuff under their own control, their own ownership. Because I feel like it would feel bad to like take control of their restless zombies and then continuously have the zombies regenerate for you instead. That feels a little too powerful. Like I feel like I would have to like triple his price or something. Alright, last card, and then I'm going to kill the stream here. Gruesome Slaughter. This is basically Fight. This is kind of similar to Green's Rabid Bite. So you play it at the start of a hero creature you control. So again, I kind of left Eldrazi out of it because I want this to be a little more flexible and like available to all colors. Target creature gets +1 power, and then it also so +1 power until the end of turn, and then it fights one creature that's adjacent to it. Again, Green's Rabid Bite is 20 points, and it flat out just says one figure, so not even a hero figure, but it says one figure you control fights one creature that's adjacent to it. And then of course the reminder text for fight. Basically just there's no rolling dice, you just say, 5 - 3, you take 2 damage, and there's no rolling dice, it's you just flat out take the power minus toughness, and that's the damage. It's basically you're playing actual Magic, the card game. It's an interesting power. I like it enough. I like Rabid Bite enough. Not much to add. I think this is a pretty flexible card and should see some use. Might be too expensive. I can see myself dropping it, but I think this card is going to be pretty fun for most of the colors. Yeah, that's it. I'm not going to go over some of this stuff because I'm not sure if I'm moving forward with some of this stuff. Considering some of the fellows who wanted to do this don't seem to be following along with or keeping up to date with the group, and I've been messaging them and no one's responding, so I'm taking most of this upon my own hands here. I will probably add a glyph, yeah, like a glyph of range +1. I think I'll add. That's like, I mean, what other glyph could I add? I think this is fine. Like a range +1 glyph shouldn't hurt. Scenarios, I'll probably try at least one scenario to include like the new Eldrazi's to kill. And I'm definitely gonna do some kind of FAQ/rulebook. And keeping along with most of the stuff. Like a lot of this isn't my original creation, especially down at the bottom here. This is from like Arcanus, who has been kind of AFK. But that covers it. How long has my stream been going? We gotta kill the stream. I'm getting kind of tired anyway. We got almost an hour, and I thought I'd be like 30 or 40 minutes. Yeah, that'll do it. Anyway, whoever's watched the stream, thanks for chilling. Yeah, just, leave comments, please, or hit me up on the Discord, or hit me up on YouTube. I don't care. I should leave a link in the Discord. I mean, a link to the Discord. In my description. I didn't do that. Oh my goodness, I didn't do that. For anyone who's watching, still here. Sean is still here. You've been listening to my rambling. Well, thank you. I appreciate you being here. I do need to remember to post the link to the freaking AOTP Discord in my YouTube descriptions. But I'm gonna kill this. I'm gonna kill my own stream here. I've been running my mouth long enough, and I'm getting kind of tired. Sean, pleasure talking. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, hit me up. Hit me up if you want to play AOTP anytime, dude. Take it easy. Have yourself a good night. I'm out of here. We'll see y'all around.